you alluded to it already, and I think that this match was, it was just the epitome of they need to develop a better women's tag team division. And we talked about this so many times that I feel like, at this point you're just beating a horse to death, because it's like, like beating a dead horse.
Literally.
And this was, I understand, I, like I said, I liked the idea of having a tag team turmoil match for the women, since the men just did it. But Dana Brooke and Tegan Knox, Emma and Nikki Cross, like, I understand you got to put more than like 3 teams in a match like that, so you're forced to just pair random girls. But Tegan hasn't even been on TV. Dana had a failed reunion down in NXT. Emma's been off hyping up her caw. Nikki Cross has been stalking Candice. So like, her engaged.
Create a wrestler.
This is the thing, right? So they're trying to bring in more athletes. Like, they're not only looking at the indies and like trying to bring in people who have already learned wrestling and then kind of trying to hone in their craft and bring them into the performance center and make them into something. They're trying to bring in athletes and people who have different athletic backgrounds, even if they have no wrestling experience whatsoever, and they're trying to make them into wrestlers, which is fine. But that's what I think that they need to try and figure out, maybe while they're doing that. Who of the women that you're developing are likely never going to be stars? And I think that that's like single stars. And I think that's where we run into an issue, is because you obviously don't want to just make assumptions about someone's future and what their career might look like. But it gets to a point where you're trying so hard to push so many girls on their own, and they're literally going to end up being what Emma is now, and it's like, at one point Emma was like at the top of her game in NXT and should have been one of the 4 horsewomen, or the 5th, you know what I mean? Like, she could have very well
forgotten one.
Her, and even like Paige at the time, so like they all that could have been them. But like, there are so many girls that are in NXT that are going to come up to the main roster and be nothing, because that's just how it is. Like, there's 1, not room, and 2, not everyone has the it factor. Not everyone has the star power. Not everyone can be phenomenal on their own. And I feel like they kind of need to figure that out a lot sooner, because when you just then put together girls randomly, it's like, this is what we're getting. So like, even when we were watching this match last night, I said that whoever decided to put Katana and Kaden together, absolutely brilliant, because they were trying to push them individually. And not that they couldn't do it on their own, but they would never make either of them the face of the women's division.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's like, not because they're not good in the ring, but just because if you're looking at the old age way of how they push these women, neither of them have the look or the whatever, whatever
exactly.
is the old,
no, you're right.
Whatever. So putting them together, look at them now. They're the best. One of the best women's tag
team I've seen in a very long time.
Yeah, and so it's like, but it's good that they figured that out while they were still in NXT. And so it's like, you need to do that more often, because otherwise we're going to keep running into this issue where it's embarrassing to watch women's tag team matches where they were just like, Dana Brooke, sure, and Tegan Knox. Like, no, that's not what people want to see. And then it's like the obvious giveaway that team's not going to win, because they're not a legitimate team.